This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, good evening, good morning. So this is Satish from Isha. Um, so we are planning to have a crash course specifically tailored for something little bit advanced from considering from a performance testing perspective, um, and at the same time focusing little bit on the automation part of the performance, right? So many of you have joined this session today. Hopefully, most of you might be from the performance background. Would have been doing all these things like scripting using JMeter or load runner, execution analysis, maybe everything, or probably a couple of things you might be doing it, right? Um, in case you wanted to probably expand your knowledge uh, from where you are today, and little bit of say a monitoring, or more from a site reliability or end user experience, engineering from a APM perspective, Jenkins from a DevOps perspective, right? So um, from a crash course perspective, we would want to provide a good um, learning on couple of these aspects, right? So as you see here, from a performance tester, if you wanted to scale yourself, there are a lot of areas: performance testing in the cloud, DevOps, reliability engineering, performance engineering, full stack QA, SDET. All these things are all something you can get into this for you to move to a next level of performance testing, right? Obviously, everything is going to uh, take a longer time, longer journey for you to get expertise on DevOps or cloud or reliability engineering or performance engineering. So what we try to do with this crash course is picking couple of important aspects from each of these area, right? From a site reliability perspective, something called synthetic monitoring, which is going to validate your application's reliability in production from a availability perspective, from a end user experience perspective. And then from a DevOps, um, we would wanted to provide you a good knowledge on how practically DevOps is applied for performance testing, Jenkins, GitHub Jenkins integration, how a pipeline is created in Jenkins, how it is typically handled for performance, right? Those things from a DevOps perspective, we wanted to give it. Similarly, from an engineering perspective, uh, we wanted to give you good knowledge on one of an APM tool called AppDynamics. And then from an end user experience, we want to give you a good knowledge on client side testing, client side performance, and how can we also automate it using a Selenium. So this is what we are trying to cover in this crash course. A crash course would be a kind of a 4 to 5 hours. It's a crash course, right? We wanted to within a short period of time, we wanted to see how we can impart this knowledge to you. Again, even though it is a crash course, we are going to cover all these topics within that stipulated time, where we are sure that you would be able to gain good knowledge on these areas, because we have done this crash course earlier also, and it has been proven to be a very effective one. So over the next weekend, hopefully many of us are having a lean period, being a December, right? uh, so over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, totally 4 to 5 hours we want to spend on this topic, so that you can gain knowledge on each of these respective areas. Okay, so the way we will do it here is, day one, on say Saturday, we'll spend time on two topics. One is on the client side monitoring or client side profiling. So we'll look into how do we go about doing a client side testing, client side performance using developer tools. What are the metrics we will capture on the your page size or number of requests, let me quickly go to the one of the slides which will help you to understand what all things we will cover. Just give me 1 second. So on the client side performance, we will cover especially on the approach that we follow in any projects for a browser-based application. Uh, your approach when you test as a first-time user or as a repeated user, we will try to uh, see what all metrics we will capture, what kind of report we will provide for the load time, time to first paint, time to content paint, page size with cache, without cache. And we also try to understand what are those paint timings, first paint and content paint, why Google has introduced these paint APIs, what is navigation API, right? And we'll also go and practically capture these metrics from the developer tool, okay? And to fill out this table or the report. And then very quickly, we'll also touch upon some of the key optimization techniques that you can apply to improve the page performance. Things like resource compression, minification of the JavaScript. These are all little bit of an engineering part, but definitely all these things are all going to be very easy to learn and easy to implement in your projects. So that is a first topic that we will look into it on next Saturday. And a little bit an extension of the client side, uh, synthetic monitoring. uh, Synthetic monitoring is the one which we will use it in the production for measuring the availability and end user uh, performance for your production site. How can we proactively monitor your application in in your production, right? So we'll use something called Dynatrace, synthetic monitoring tool. Using Dynatrace, we'll try to see how to create very easily the scripts or your business transaction, right? And then we'll see how to configure those synthetic monitoring tool and what are all metrics we will look into it. And from an availability perspective, from an end user perspective, how are we going to uh, uh, measure and analyze those? We will use Dynatrace own agent to learn the synthetic monitoring concepts and also to create scripts for the same, right? So this comes under little bit of a site reliability engineering, but as a performance tester, if you go and say that uh, you know client side profiling, you know client side analysis, you know a little bit of optimization, plus you also have done Dynatrace synthetic monitoring scripts, you know how to configure it. That is going to be a real value add on top of your performance testing. And both these things are all not going to be a very deep learning. It's once you learn from the course and once you go and practice it, it will be very easy for you to take it into any of your projects or even answer the questions in the interviews. Okay. Synthetic monitoring, you can also register your own with your own email IDs. You can get a trial account with Dynatrace. And for client side monitoring, all the developer tools or something, you can use it by yourself. So whatever you learned from the course, you would be able to go and practice it. You would be able to go and do a hands-on to get that extra confidence. Okay. And then for the next day, day 2 on Sunday, first topic we will look into the um, application monitoring, right? So this will come under more from the monitoring diagnostics or a little bit of performance engineering. So learning one APM tool is very uh, key, and it's really going to add value. If you haven't used any of these tools, APM tool in your project, this is the best way to learn and then do a hands-on as well. AppDynamics also provides you a trial account in the AppDynamics cloud. Let me just go there. Okay, so you can set up your own trial account and practice whatever we are going to learn in the session. So we will cover the app configuration of your Java agent, how to configure AppDynamics Cloud with a Java agent. I have my Tomcat where I have a sample application. So with that help of that sample application, I would be able to go and tell you how to configure it, and then how to monitor. So this Java tier, whatever you're seeing it here, is the application which is running in my machine, connecting into a MySQL database, right? So we'll look into what all things we will be able to monitor using AppDynamics tool from a business transaction perspective, from the JVM heap, garbage collection, how to monitor all these things, and how to monitor the database calls, how to monitor the remote services, um, and then also when the response time is high, we'll also see how to troubleshoot the problem using the AppDynamics. So, within that one session, you would be able to pretty much understand how to use an APM tool. In any APM tool, what all things will be there, how we will, as a performance tester, how you are going to use the APM tool, right? That comprehensive knowledge you will definitely get it. So configuration of Java agent, JVM heap and GC monitoring, response time analysis, bottleneck diagnostics, and also you will get to know how to monitor the database calls, flow running queries, your third-party calls, remote services. All these things we will try to understand how to monitor and how to analyze it. And then again, DevOps, Jenkins is something very, very buzzword everywhere. So it is very important for us to at least have a basic hands-on on DevOps for performance. So we'll first try to understand from a DevOps perspective where performance stands, how performance testing is implemented in DevOps, why it is not success in many of the projects, what is a practical approach that you should have it, you take it, and then we will go to Jenkins, and then we will try to see how to create, how to use the plugins, how to create your pipelines, what are all jobs that will be there specific to performance from a pipeline perspective, from a smoke test, from an environmental validation, from pulling the script from GitHub for a JMeter scripts. All these things we will look into it practically, and also see how a JMeter can be executed from a pipeline, how our JMeter can be executed using a Jenkins job. Right? So from a DevOps perspective, what are the minimal that is required for you to understand, you will learn. And again, Jenkins is something you can install in your machine. JMeter is something you can install in the machine. So which means all the thing what you learn, right? 100% whatever you learn here, you would be able to practice it in your own laptop. And the things that is required for you in terms of say JMeter script, or the configuration file for your AppDynamics, your some of these navigation APIs, paint timing APIs, all these things that is required for you to practice it, and the sample application. This is a sample application Tomcat has started. Let me open the sample application. So sample application as well, I will give it to you, the WAR file, so that you can deploy it in the Tomcat and then use it for your AppDynamics configuration. Okay, this is a sample application which you can use it to configure the AppDynamics, and you can, I will also provide a JMeter script which you can run it, so that you would be able to run something in your machine and then monitor that is in AppDynamics, and you can also run those JMeter scripts from the Jenkins also. So whatever you learn from the session, you would be able to go and pretty much practice it um on your own. That is the intention as well, right? A crash course to give you information on variety of things that you can add as your skills in your resume or use it in your projects, and which means you should also be able to go and practice it on your laptop, otherwise it is not going to be really useful. So which all these things, Dynatrace or AppDynamics or client-side performance or Jenkins, all these things after the course you would be able to go and do a hands-on in your laptop. Okay, so I'll just take a pause here. If there are any questions, please let me know.
Satish, this is Rajesh. Hi, Satish.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so So are we not covering the tick stack monitoring?
Tick stack monitoring, I used to cover it earlier, but I will cover if there's enough time. I can also cover that, but I only thing is 4 to 5 hours is going to be um, just enough to cover these four things. But I will try to cover if possible here, or um, I can probably provide the video of that if in case we don't have time. So that's why I didn't put that in the here in the course detail. But I will be able to either cover it during session, or will provide that video alone, Rajesh.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'll try to cover. See, I don't have a problem, but only thing is I don't want to squeeze other things. Will cover. Not a problem.
Okay, because
Uh,
that is an open source, and it is, I mean, it will be easily integrated with J meters. No, that's what I was thinking about that.
fine, not a problem. We can see once we can plan that. Not a problem. Okay. Um, I will try to see how to handle that within 4 to 5 hours, at least at the minimal level. And detailed one, I can give a video as well. Or once you guys enroll, I think on the day one initially, we can plan this session. It's probably the client side performance. I can probably squeeze it a little bit and then bring that tick stack in a detailed way, so that we can plan, Rajesh.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Any others have any questions on the course detail, timing, or content, anything?
How about timings? What were the timings on weekends? Will it be in evening or
uh,
morning?
it's in the evening IST. So it's going to be with, it will start from 7:30 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for how much duration I mean for 1 day?
See, totally 4 to 5 hours. Okay. So so every day it is going to be 2 to 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And say I will not be rushing it anything in case something is, say one of the topic is we couldn't able to cover it during the weekday as per everyone availability. We can also cover that. Or in the next weekend. So you can pretty much guarantee that you will get all these things, whatever we are planning it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Others, any clarification you need? Any questions, guys?
Satish, one thing more. Actually, I was seeing your earlier, I think last course which you had covered for the same topic. So I think in that one you had covered other topics as well. I mean, apart from the tick stack one,
No,
and
that
the
was that was
duration were also more.
yeah. That
So
was a crash. That was not a crash course actually. This is a crash course. That was not a crash course. That was planned for a weekday, and it was close to I think 9 to 10 hours. So that's a
yes,
difference. This is
yes.
a crash.
Okay. So I mean,
Yeah.
does it have more topics? I mean, you had covered in that?
No, in that I would have covered the tech stack, and then more on the selenium part also. There would be an extended session on selenium. That is a difference between this and that.
Okay. Okay, because there
Yeah.
in that also I could see the heading as mentioned as a crash course. So yeah, that's the reason I was
Okay.
asking.
Yeah. yeah, it was an extended session over the weekdays. That's a difference. But the content wise, see there I would have probably dragged a bit more of a theoretical things. This is going to be very crisp and focusing on especially on specific things that are required for us to learn. So that is the difference between this and that. And then there I have added tech stack and also a little bit more on the Selenium part. That's the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can suppose if we'll enroll in this course, crash course, so can you share us the videos for that course as well?
Yeah.
Will it be possible?
That should be possible. Yeah, that is fine. That's not a problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Just remind me that I can do it. But
Okay.
it will be this recording as well. You will get it in Saturday and Sunday videos. After the completion of the course, you will also get the videos. In addition to that, I can also ask the team to share that video also. That is not a problem. But it will be mostly, it will be a repetitive one. Apart from one or two where it would have been a little bit of a more detailed one. I can do that. Just remind me, Rajesh.
Yeah, if we can see those videos, so yeah, I mean, if we have some doubts, we can just clarify with you at that time. So
Yeah. After the demo sessions, after the sessions are over, I can ask them to share both these videos.
okay, fine.
Yeah. Others, guys, feel free to ask questions, or if you have any other questions tomorrow or day after, you can just ping in the WhatsApp group or just message me. I can clarify your doubts. Okay. If there are no questions, guys, we will meet next Saturday. And anything related to the any questions related to the payment or course enrollment, you can reach out to Kumar sir. Any specific to the or these topics, you can message me directly or in the WhatsApp group, guys. Okay. So thanks a lot for taking out your time today over the weekend, and hopefully we'll meet tomorrow, meet on the next weekend. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you,
guys.
Satish.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rajesh.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.